Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, I've got the tie on, we've got the top hollow music playing in the background, and you know what that means. It means we've got some more Pokemon Sleep news. Now, this news comes to us in a bit of a different form. It's, once again, from Datamines, not from the actual news from the company themselves. But I think this is very interesting, and instead of being normal, instead of a normal Pokemon Sleep news video, we're going to start this off with actually showing off something in the app. So last night, there was maintenance, as we all knew was coming. It was announced to us beforehand. And part of this was they prepped us for Expert Mode. Now, a lot of us got our free Expert Mode tickets. But interestingly, now there is a new button in the bottom left corner of our screen. All it says if you tap on it is Expert Mode will unlock on whatever time, August 11th of 4 a.m. your time. And now we can click back and forth. We can see the other island, the Expert Mode option. It doesn't give us much information, though. But what is notable, before, the news implied that we were only going to get 2 Expert Mode tickets per week. But I think something very, very notable is that in the regular exchange, there's actually 3 Expert Mode tickets available. This means that we can go 3 times a month if you're free to play, if you're willing to spend 600 sleep points, or 4 times a month if you are premium. That is huge. When it was 2 per month, it gave this kind of mindset of, oh, you're probably going to spend good camp tickets when you go Expert Mode most of the time. Maybe not all the time, because twice per month is still more than you get good camp tickets while on Premium Pass. But, you know, there was still a question of, usually you'll be using your good camp tickets. Usually you will still be gated on how quickly you can progress your Expert bonus. That's not necessarily the case. We're going to be able to go pretty much every week. Now, granted, there are technically like 4.3 weeks in a month. It's not technically exactly 4, but that's still most weeks. That means out of every 3 months, we'll be missing 1 week of Expert Mode, potentially. We can do it almost all the time. So that is huge if you have the budget to spend on it. Bigger for premium players than free-to-play. Because free-to-play, 200 expense is still quite a bit. But I think that the rewards from this might be pretty hefty. But let's get into what Expert Mode details we do have. Now, a lot of this is data mined. Things could change, and some of it is a little bit unclear. So I'm just going to show the data, talk about a little bit about how I might interpret it, but just know that it may not be perfect, and it may look a little bit different than what you're thinking is showing up. Now, we're going to start with the Discord announcement by Raynon, and then we'll get a little bit into Spawn Pool, which that is actually pretty fixed. And huge thank you to both Raynon and Cerebi. They both did a lot to data mine this information and get that all this information live. So, huge shout out to both of them. And we're going to be going through both of their findings. So, Expert Mode effects. Potential berry strength 2.4 times. That is pretty huge. Now, ingredient count being boosted. Everyone, including ingredient specialists, get a flat +1. And sometimes ingredient specialists get a +2. This is probably to counteract the whole effect of non-ingredient specialists benefit from an ingredient buff, like flat +1, because they get more on their procs anyway. So percentage-wise, non-ingredient specialists actually benefit from this more. But maybe this sometimes +2 is to offset that, so that it's roughly a same percentage boost. But interestingly, this gives more potential viability to Pokemon that have smaller size procs with higher value. Quacklevolt particularly comes to mind if it matches the favored berry. Main skill probability multiplied by 1.25 times. That's quite a bit of a jump for skill specialists. Percentage-wise, skill specialists compared to berry specialists, I mean, 2.4 it's a 20% boost for berry specialists versus a 25% boost for skill specialists. But I've talked about it before. A 25% boost for skill probability is not necessarily a 25% boost to productivity, just because of the effect of pity procs. A skill boost doesn't boost pity procs, it only boosts RNG-based procs. So 25% isn't necessarily actually 25%, but that's going to vary how much it matters per Pokemon. Additionally, if you can't collect those 25% extra procs, those get wasted. Your berries will never get wasted. There's sneaky snacking in play. So, yes, the berry strength modifier of 20% up from what it was before is less potent than 25% here, but that's in theory. In practice, I think these are going to be pretty similar in power as a boost to skill specialists versus berry specialists. Now, helping speed plus 15% minus 10%. I've seen some people misinterpret this. And you know what? Actually, okay, I think it's a misinterpretation, because Usually when they have modifiers to speed, they don't modify the help speed. They modify the frequency. And that's important because frequency in this game is the time between helps. It's technically wrong. It should be called period, but it's not for some reason. Frequency. Plus is actually bad. Minus is good, because it's subtracting the time between each helps means a lower frequency means faster speed. This means that it'd be a minus 10% to base frequency, plus 15% to base frequency when it's being penalized. And then main skill level, plus 1. Now, something very interesting, it's got the following effects. Main type, match type, and mismatch type. Now, it's something very interesting. It says helping frequency minus in both these. I think this might be a typo, but I'm not going to say for sure. I'm pretty certain this is supposed to be helping frequency plus the plus 15% instead of helping frequency minus 10% up here. But main skill level plus or helping frequency. Now, we don't know if this slash is an or an and. If it's an and, then matching type is going to be very significant because all these buffs are pretty powerful. And getting all three at once would be pretty insane. Now, we don't know what necessarily... Some things, we don't know if this is berry energy 2.4 times. It's probably just a buff from 2 times to 2.4 times. Because buffing it to 2.4 times past that would be pretty insane, as we discussed in the live stream last night. Also, here's thank you to all the people that showed up for the live stream. It was fun reacting to all this stuff live as it came in. But then, helping frequency minus. Now, being only 15%, I don't think that's going to... I think it'll be selective with your ingredient specialist that you play off type. And 15% isn't quite a big enough modifier that it makes E4E unviable. It might make Wigglytuff and Sylveon less viable as like if they're off type. But I think for Palmot and Gardevoir, those two in particular, they can just tank this hit and still be pretty reliable at healing. I don't think it's going to make any impact on energy for everyone, and I don't think it's going to bring about any viability to energizing cheer. Investing them is still going to be a hefty cost, so 15% is pretty slim. But they're boosting shiny and specific other things as well. Details still unknown. But it could be all three of these things. It could be just one of them randomly selected each week. I think it's more likely to be the second one to give more viability to, or give more creative team building of like, oh, I got a main skill rate boost this week. I want to use skill specialists that match the type. Now, notably, helping frequency up here. This is a much stronger modifier than main skill level, because if it is a skill specialist, you're probably going to have those skill seed invested anyway. So if it is one or the other up here, then man, you really better hope that you get helping frequency, because the Pokemon that care the most about the main skill level, you're probably generally going to have invested anyway, and if you don't have them invested, a single skill level isn't going to make them viable. If you're going from level 3 to level 4 energy for everyone, that makes hardly a difference. It only matters at the later levels. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, but all this is still kind of up in arms. We don't necessarily know all of this information for sure, but thank you to Rainon for posting all that, because it is intriguing. But anyway, now to the stuff that was provided to us by Cerebi. I was on the website for it, and he's got all the sleep styles posted for what spawns at Greengrass, and what spawns at Greengrass Expert Mode. And first thing to notice is that pretty much all the 3-star styles are at Expert Mode that weren't there before. Like, as far as, like, 3-star styles go. There were very few 3-star styles at Greengrass by default. You see an occasional one, like 3-star or Charizard is here for some reason. 3-star Persian. Like, there's a few 3-star styles at Greengrass, but not a lot. Now, Expert Mode, it's got all of them. It's not banning 3-star styles at all. We kind of expected that, since they're the rarer ones that allow the later islands to provide more Dream Shards than what Greengrass did. And if it still had that drawback, that Expert Mode wouldn't be that much of a buff. So, they brought those around. But what's more interesting is looking at the Pokemon that were gotten rid of at Greengrass. So, I made a list. I went through, copy and pasted in both lists of what Pokemon are there, and then just manually compared them. I'm sure there was a way to auto-do this in the sheets, but I couldn't figure it out. So I just listed them all out, and then manually compared them after sorting them alphabetically. And I got these lists of, these are the Pokemon that were on Greengrass that are not in Greengrass Expert Mode. These are the Pokemon that are on Greengrass Expert Mode that were not on Greengrass. And I kind of sorted these by 3 different categorizations. lines that were removed, entire lines that just were taken out from Greengrass, which is actually just all of these, but only the pre-evolutions. I didn't include all the evolved forms. Added lines, so lines that were not at Greengrass at all before, and now are there. And then the extended lines. So these are ones that are like Pokemon that like in their pre-evolved form were at Greengrass before, but now we have the full line involved. So like Ampharos used to be like Snowdrop Old Gold Power Plant exclusive. Now you can see the entire line, not just Flaffy and Mareep. So same thing with Arcanine, with Growlithe, the Crocolore and Skeledirge as well. This is sorted so weirdly because it's alphabetized, but and you can see for extended lines, I'm sure some people will love to see Houndoom. I know that's a candy that some people struggle to get. Clodsire is interesting to see. But I think the most interesting thing is looking at the lines removed, the added lines, and also some of them that were not removed. Bonsly, I know, is one that kind of got joked about. Like, why is Bonsly here? Because you see Bonsly's not listed here. It's in expert mode. I can go to the expert mode thing, and if I search for Bonsly, it is in fact there. Bonsly and Sudowoodo, both. So they chose not to remove that, but they removed Bellsprout, Krogunk, and this is the entire line is removed. Bellsprout, Krogunk, Diglett, Ekans, Ghastly, Geodude, Gulpin, Igglybuff, Mankey, Psyduck, Rattata, Riolu, Slowpoke, Togepi, Wooper, and Wynaut. Wooper is an interesting one to me that they removed it, especially since they kept Paldean Wooper and actually added its evolution to the line. But they removed both Wooper and Quagsire from the list of what spawns at Greengrass. You can see Quagsire was there before, but it's now gone. Added lines that they added. Now these ones are also interesting as they are kind of, a lot of them are island exclusives. Onix is a pseudo-island exclusive because Steelix exists at Old Gold Power Plant, but Onix itself is top exclusive. Sableye is also a top exclusive. Snover and Alolan Vulpix were usually island exclusive, except during the Christmas week every year, but where they were added to Greengrass just for 1 week, but now they're at Greengrass Expert Mode all the time. And then Aaron, which is an Old Gold Power Plant exclusive, and Ralts. Now, notably, those, and then Ralts is Lapis exclusive. They didn't touch any of the one Cyan Beach exclusive that's not even exclusive anymore, being Mime, but they added all these lines, and they only added one line from both Lapis and Old Gold Power Plant. I kind of like that, because it still gives reasons to go there, rather than just always doing Expert Mode. If you want to hunt Grubbin, sorry, Greengrass Expert Mode is not going to be the place to hunt Grubbin. A lot of people thought that that was going to be the case, because, myself included, just because they were there in past events, so why can't they be there again? But they didn't do that. It's only Aaron and Ralts that spawn at Greengrass, or Greengrass Expert Mode. So, if you want Stuffle, Dratini, Vikavolt, or Grubbin, I guess, or Shinx, you still have to go to those islands specifically. But then, extended lines, once again, this is just probably to introduce more things that create more Dream Shards, more productivity of candies, and whatnot, to make it more worth it to go there, so that it's not the problem of, well, the rewards are boosted, but the rewards that are boosted are crap rewards to begin with. That's not the case, because they're adding the evolutions. Hi, this is editing me. I entirely forgot before ending this video, but I wanted to talk about this, so I'm editing this in later. It's very rare that I do edits. But anyway, I want to talk about the research rank requirement as well, because it is a huge difference. If we look at the old highest research rank requirement before, which was Old Gold Power Plant, 6.67 mil. This was like, if you made it to this, if you made it to Master 20 at Old Gold Power Plant, you were an elite player. Like, that is the challenge. That is, like, kind of the end goal right now for the game. But now, they've given us a new bar. A new bar to cross. Now, notably, something very interesting, a lot of the rarer styles spawn earlier. And that's primarily because these research rank requirements, or not research rank, sleep style, whatever it's called, the Snorlax rank requirements are really high. If you look here, the amount for Master 1 is 2 million on Expert Mode, whereas before, that would get you into the Master 18s. If you just want to get your weekly reward, assuming the rewards stay the same, which is Master 3 normally, they might change for Expert Mode, we don't know yet. But it'd be 2.5 million for Master 3. Now, before on Greengrass, That would have been between Master 18, Master 19, closer to Master 19. So there is a hefty, like not only are you dealing with the penalties and having to build around the team that you have, but also now the research, the Snorlax rank requirements are way higher. But like I said, rarer styles spawn sooner. You don't necessarily need to reach those higher ranks. As for what impact this will have on number of spawns, only time will tell. We don't know how many spawns will appear because that's inconsistent across the islands as well. I know on Old Gold Power Plant, it only takes like Ultra 5 to get to 5 spawns. We can see that with here. It only takes Ultra 5, whereas on Greengrass, in order to get to 8 spawns, it takes Master 1. So, and minimum drowsy power is very different across them. It's 19 million at Greengrass by default, whereas it's 97 million at Old Gold Power Plant. We can't necessarily see this for expert mode. It's just not there yet. That information is not data mineable. But we don't know how it's going to impact number of spawns. Only time will tell on that one. But my goodness, we have a new end goal. If you want to be the expert of Pokemon Sleep, 11 million Snorlax strength is now basically the number to hit. Technically, it's 10.98 million, but that's less than 10.981 million. It's less than 20,000 away from 11 million. That's a lot of Snorlax strength. I've seen very few people hit those. I don't even think I've hit that high of a Snorlax strength before. I think I could do it if I did it on Old Gold Power Plant with the 75% area bonus, but it's going to take a long time to build up to that. A very, very long time to build up to 11 million Snorlax strength. Especially since our area bonus, expert bonus, is resetting. Our expert bonus is at 0%. Now, we don't necessarily know how expert bonus is going to work. If it is a modifier on top of our area bonus, or if it's entirely just 0% from max right now, back down to 0. We now have to build up area bonus slowly over time. That could take a lot of time. I'm not expecting anyone, unless you're a whale dropping tons of whistles, I'm not expecting anyone who's not whaling the game to be hitting this point for minimum 14 weeks, is what I'd guess, just to get to like 75% area bonus. Maybe 13, maybe 12 if you're really min-maxing the game. We'll see how far it is for me. But yeah, this is an insane new goal. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the missions, if it's still going to be Master 3, because I wouldn't be surprised if with 0% area bonus, some people aren't able to get that incense reward, potentially, if they keep that at Master 3. 2.5 million, while that's not that much, that's a lot when you consider that we're potentially going to be starting with 0% area bonus. If we have a 0% area bonus, then this is actually a lot. Comparative, that's like 4 million without it, or with the area bonus-ish. If I just did that was mental math. I could be wrong. But, yeah, crazy. But back to pre-recording me instead of editing me. So, that's pretty much all there really is to say from the Datamines. I think it's really interesting what they're doing. Some of it's not even Datamines, some of it's confirmed. But yeah, a lot of implications here. I think the biggest, most wild thing is the 3 tickets in the shop. And that's one of the few things that we do have 100% confirmed, because we can actually see it in the game. But anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Especially since I try to post news videos like this as soon as I can. Huge thank you to all my channel members. It really means a lot to me that you guys show your support financially. And if you too want to become a financial supporter and are able to do so, then the join button is down below. You can come join our Discord. It's in the description. We talk about all things Pokemon Sleep and the like. And as always, I thank you all for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.